Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One. Thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Chopard Mille Miglia Split Second XL. You can see this 44mm stainless steel 1 of 1000 limited edition on our website, watchyouwant.com. You can purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right hand corner of this video at any time to see our full listing for this watch with accessories included, additional photographs, and of course, complete pricing information. Now, what I want to emphasize with this watch is that it's big, it's stark, it's got a lot of mass. It has the presence and persona of an engine block on the wrist, and while it's true, Chopard does have the engine one for those who truly must have the engine on the forearm, this watch definitely has that kind of monolithic presence to it. The case, 44mm across, is a hefty one, and it's a robust 17mm thick thanks to the sophisticated rattrapant complication within. Now the watch sits nicely on the wrist despite a 54mm lug-to-lug measurement. Extremity to extremity, it's quite large, but you can see how the robust and fully formed lugs really do wrap around the tight curve of a smaller wrist. Moreover, the natural vulcanized rubber strap has no conforming spring bar, so it doesn't sit flush against the case flank, and it has no tendency to billow out or swell. If you want to pull the strap down around the smaller wrist, around the curve of a tighter, smaller forearm like mine, you have absolutely no trouble with the fit of this watch. If you're into the oversized look, this one's willing to meet you halfway ergonomically. Now, the rubber strap is of superb quality, and you can also see the imprint of a tire track. Now, from 1927 to 1957, the Mille Miglia, for which this watch is named, and you can see the little logo on the dial right there, was run in earnest as a race, a road rally. Since 1977, it's been run as a historic car rally, not so much a competitive race as a celebration of veteran machinery. And since 1988, Chopard has licensed the name for its flagship sports watches. Now, Carl Friedrich Schäufele, owner of Chopard, is a race car driver, a collector, as well as a watch enthusiast, so he's made sure that automotive themes like this tire track emblem, like the Mille Miglia visual references, and the sporting tachometer chronograph combination run deep in the Mille Miglia line. You can also see that the watch features a robust stainless steel clasp attached to that superbly distinctive strap. Now, the clasp does feature twin trigger action, so it's not friction fit, and you can see that the watch itself has superb build quality right down to the clasp. Now, Chopard is a complete manufacturer, building the clasp, the case, as well as a number of movements. This one is a modified Value 7750, but you nevertheless get the same know-how in the clasp and the case, as well as the same standard of finishing, high polish throughout, including under the pin buckle, that you would get on the LUC range. And just to remind you of such, Chopard's certain to stamp the case with the mark of the LUC range, just to remind you that the pedigree is in there. This is all Chopard: style, case, clasp, and spirit. Now, the watch itself features a rattrapant complication activated by the pusher actuator at 8 o'clock. You can see how it splits the second, and it uses effective triangular indicators to allow you to trace the split-second events. Now, this is a natural match for racing because when you are timing cars around a track or cars past landmarks, when the first car passes, you stop the second's hand, and then when the second car passes, you stop the second's hand. At this point, you have the interval between them. Now, you can restart that primary second's hand and command the auxiliary to fly back. So you have that rattrapant action, and every time those cars circulate past the same landmark or the same part of the track, say the start-finish straight, you can simply take the interval again between the two of them. And over time, through continuous timing and tracing of that gap, you can get a sense of whether or not the one car is essentially drawing away from the other. It's a great sporting complication, beautifully executed and highly legible on the Split Seconds XL. Now, you can see the rest of the dial is downright Baroque. Honestly, that's the best way to describe it. You can see the fully applied date frame around the radial date indicator atop the Mille Miglia logo. You can see that there are several different what we'd call inverse panda subregisters, which is to say silver on a black background. It's a classic sporting treatment that really came to prominence during the 1960s on classic Rolex, Heuer, and Breitling models. You can also see that the watch features a very sporting engraved tachometric scale outboard as the bezel itself. So inboard you have a 0 to 60 calibrated seconds track for the chronograph, and then outboard a tachometric scale if you do want to use it for its sporting speed function, if you do want to gauge the speed of cars engaged in a vintage rally. And you'll notice being calibrated to 240, it's specifically calibrated to deal with the speeds that you're likely to see on veteran racing machines, not the latest Formula One and WEC machines, although Chopard does sponsor Porsche's Le Mans racing effort with the 919. Now, speaking of high-performance machinery, you will find it on the caseback. This is a 27-joule split-second chronograph built on a Valjoux 7750 base. It's quite nicely finished with perlage across the bridges. There is straight graining of the levers, there is circular graining of the wheels. You can see the linear Côte de Genève across the winding mass, coarse blued elements. It has great depth to it because of the complexity of the rattrapante mechanism. In addition to the basic features of the 7750, you really can look down through this movement and get a great sense of all the works together. It's beautiful imagery for those who like to pop the hood and look down past an engine, past the valve covers, past the heads, past the headers, down to the bottom of the engine and the block itself. It's really that kind of machine. Now the watch, gorgeous, oversized, versatile. It's also a hardy piece. Being a true sports watch with a Valjoux 7750 as its heart, this one's as tough as the vintage race cars to which it pays tribute. You can see this Chopard Mille Miglia split-second XL rattrapante chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com.